do you actually look for, degrees or self-taught? I know from context that it doesn't matter from what you're saying. You're looking for curiosity. But when it comes to a formal hiring process, is that really a minimum bar you are looking at?
It's actually not. So ideally, it is not. In case if they have experience, why did they choose this question? And even if I can have a conversation around a particular artifact, in this case, it could be a research project, then I would be much more happy to have them as an part of my team, right? But if none of them exists, if the degree does not exist, let's say, for example, somebody sends of which has just, let's say, UX design or UI design as a part of it, and they have done a bit of research, okay, as a part of the app design, right? It's very difficult. That probably the small research that you did has would have been like, say, 2 days, 3 days, or understand what project you research. Did you frame questionnaires? Did you go and talk to them? Can you show me the transcription? But if you said, no, I did not have time, I just spoke to a bunch of people, then yeah, I mean, that is not something that we could take it as a proof to move forward, because most of the people that I speak to talk about this, right? Oh, we did research. What did you do? Then when you get into the details, then the lines kind of blur, right? Because it's in that 5% with research. So everybody kind of start their journey with what they call the research. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. If then what happens is, then I as an a lot more energy and resource into training that person. We just don't have that luxury at this point in time, right? So all of those things, and there especially your pay also comes into picture, right? So then this idea of the pay also comes into picture. Yes, let's say, for example, in an organization, if they're starting a user research team, for them also it's an experiment, right? So, but if you're saying that, I do not have like an experience in user research before, I am ready to kind of learn user research without a pay cut, then these things become much more challenging, right? Of course, user research probably today's context, they don't earn as much as your UI, UX, motion graphic designers and all, right? Because it's a relatively new field in this age of startups, even though like bigger companies have had user researchers. For the startups, this is like a new thing, right? And they just started investing into it, right? So you cannot expect the same pay without having a previous experience.
So that makes sense. So you can't compare your pays to other titles in the same field, and it is not fair on the company as well.
Yeah. So that also challenging, because a lot of people would have wanted to be a user researcher when they just graduated out of college, right? Here I'm just talking about design graduates. When they graduated out of college, and a lot of my friends and batchmates, they moved out of research because there were not enough research opportunities at that point. So now they moved into all the different other sorts of disciplines, which could be UI, UX, or design strategies, service design, whatever. Now, when the user research field is actually blooming, they would want to try their hands on. But now the other financial commitments might not allow them to go back to it, right? And that is also something that I kind of look at it as an cue, where to see that, hey, is the person actually interested in it? They would take a plunge and they would take a pay cut and they would be interested to learn, right? When people come with that sort of, then it's very difficult to avoid, right? Then you definitely will have to give them a chance, right? And that's how a bunch of them who actually worked with us, who have collaborated with us, they've gone out of their way, right? They would have been other product design. They would come and say that, I would like to volunteer for free. I just want to learn research, because they don't have to do that, right? It's exciting to see such folks. Yeah.
End of the day, you're looking more for enthusiasm and that curiosity, and you will take a bet on them in the future once they are, they're proving themselves worthy of that bet.
So if you look at research as a long-term game, then it's going to be amazing, right? So I have this hypothesis, just to deviate a little bit, right? So let's say, for example, you are a user researcher, and you are not improving your skill sets. Let's say your skill sets hold the same, right? You will still be valued much more than what you're valued today, 5 years from now, right? Why? Because the rest of the people are losing the art of conversation. It's not because you're becoming better, right? Since other people are losing the art of conversation, you holding the skill set will be much more valued in future as opposed to today, right? But on the other hand, the rest of the skill sets that you probably hold today, and we are very proud as a designers, which could be primarily defined by the frameworks and the tools that we hold, it will get automated, right? But still, at the end of the day, understanding human beings is one part which will be very difficult to be automated, at least in the near future. When I talk about near future, maybe like 10, 20 years, right? So it's a good time for all the people who want to take like this high risk but high reward, right? It's a good time.